To my generation and older, Gough Whitlam is both the Labor Prime Minister who ended 23 years of Conservative rule and the only Australian Prime Minister ever dismissed by a Governor-General. These two moments bookend the 3-year span of so much of the writings about Whitlam. What we know of Whitlam on a personal level is less substantial, but no less telling. The volcanic temper, the biting wit, his crash-through or crash approach, the poor judge of personal character, the inept caucus and cabinet manager, the self-deprecating humour strangely coexisting with an undisguised healthy ego, and the determined reformer. But for whole generations, of course younger than me, Whitlam's now known more for the popular band The Whitlams, my family band as he calls them, than for his reforming style of government. The election of the Whitlam government on the 2nd of December 1972, bringing an end to 23 years of continuous Conservative government, was, in its own way, an event as dramatic as the exceptional circumstances of that government's demise on the 11th of November 1975. And yet it is above all the dismissal of the government that we consider synonymous with Gough Whitlam. The eponymous political event, the dismissal as we now know it, has become part of our pop political culture. Its established images and iconography bursting out from everything from coffee cups to tea towels to looped sound bites. Well, may we say, curs cur and maintain your rage, conveying a settled meaning with the ease of a caricatured history. It boasts its own television mini-series, countless books, postcards, T-shirts, and the dismissal tour at Old Parliament House is one of its most popular. There is simply no contemporary Australian political figure. There might have to be a detour, I think, on that tour in future years. There's simply no contemporary Australian political figure on whom more has been written than Gough Whitlam, and certainly few governments have stimulated such controversy, commentary and critique as that led by him. Yet the focus of this is remarkably narrow, and for all the words written about him, few have strayed from this unremitting focus on the brief but eventual governmental rise and fall. Whitlam's 3-year period as Prime Minister, his truncated second government, and its unprecedented dismissal by the Governor-General, Sir John Kerr. But even within this very specific focus, so much of it, as Clem Lloyd has said, concentrates almost obsessively on the 25 days between 16th of October and 15th of November 1975. Our perception of Gough Whitlam has this most unusual feature about it, in that it is inextricably bound up with the equally mythical dimensions of the single event that has come to represent his political life, the dismissal of him as Prime Minister and his entire government in November 75. I argue that ultimately this prism became a distorting one. In focusing on the irresistible drama of these few years in office, crucial formative aspects in Whitlam's life were too readily overlooked. His family background and personal relationships, the early years in Canberra, his active war service, the parliamentary decades in opposition, and the modernisation of the deeply divided Labor Party and its policies. The legendary temper that I mentioned before, water thrown over Paul Hasluck in Parliament, telephones hurled through windows, chairs flying through office door, the period after office as Australia's ambassador to UNESCO and later as a member of the UNESCO Executive Board, and his work with Margaret Whitlam during the 1990s when they ran study tours through Europe, Britain, South America and Asia. All of them rich and instructive aspects of Whitlam's life that until now had scarcely rated a mention. And it is this unusual context that when it comes to Gough Whitlam we knew a lot about a little, that presented me with a great opportunity as a biographer, that so much more of Whitlam's life remained to be told. The focus on the 3 years of the Whitlam government had left a significant void for a biography to explore, and in doing so to uncover a series of events, circumstances and characters that would do justice to the truism that truth is stranger than fiction.